Hey fellow gardeners, it's Vicky. I am in zone 5B. It is September, I don't know, 7th or something like that. Just wanted to do a update on my gardening. So, I'm getting ready for colder temperatures. I'm in Iowa and right on the Nebraska border. So, probably here soon we're going to have nights that start dipping into the 50s and maybe even colder. So I want to make sure that I'm getting my tropical plants either moved in somewhere where they won't die or pulled up for the fall. So I'm taking a different approach for different plants. If you saw my first video, this giant elephant ear, as well as these elephant ears here, and these are two different varieties, which is why I have them in here. This one gets like a blue veining. It's called Blue Hawaii. And this one with the red stems also gets blue veining. It's a brand new one I just bought actually, so I don't remember what it's called. I think it was also blue something. I'll have to update that on my after I edit the video. Anyway, these were previously planted over here in my bog garden, and they were doing excellent. I mean, they love that spot. However, I really want this to be like a true bog garden. And so what I have planted here now are some cattail grass. And these, I think they're called Sarracenia. I mentioned in my first video that I planned on getting some of them. They get like little cups at the top. They're not looking super great, but they should be okay. Anyway, those will winter over. They'll die down and come back in the spring. And then they should spread pretty rapidly throughout this boggy area. So that's what I did there. I'm moving those elephant ears inside. This room over here is attached to my garage, and it used to have a hot tub in there before we moved in, but I'm just going to use it kind of as a plant area. So I'll probably have to add some supplemental lighting, but I mean, I'm just storing them in here for winter. I've got a little heater here, and I'm planning to try to add some humidity of some sort. But anyway, just gives me a place to put those really big house plants, or plants that I don't have room for in the house, I should say, that are tropical, and I don't want them to completely die down for winter. This is another one. It's a castor oil or castor bean plant, and they get really beautiful, and they grow surprisingly fast. But this is my first time ever growing it, and I think I just didn't get it in the ground soon enough, and it didn't get very big this year. So I don't want it to die this winter. I'd like to continue growing this next year. I think they can reach like 9-10 feet. So I plan to move that inside that room over there. Ooh, this is a new shrub I just planted. That one is called Sweet Bush, Aphrodite variety Sweet Bush, and they get really big, like 9 feet or something. So that should fill in this whole space right here, and they get these beautiful maroon flowers on them. I think look very tropical in my garden here, that it has colors of maroon, red, and orange. So once it freezes, I'm gonna cut off the tops of all my cannas, pull the bulbs up out of the ground, and move them inside for storage. I've been doing these cannas along this fence line for 2 years now, and I've decided I'm going to do something different next year. So I don't like having to dig in next to the fence and not disturb the other plants that I have planted in front of it. It's difficult. So what I want to do is pull them up, and I think I might pot them or put them in different areas of my yard next year. And then instead, in their place, I'm going to plant something that comes back every year that I don't have to deal with during the fall, but something that's tall as well. So I'm thinking lilies, like Asiatic and Oriental lilies, something like that, that will just come back every year and be tall along that fence line, but I won't have to continually dig it up and store it every fall and then replant it in the spring. So In the front, I have a foxtail pennisetum grass starting to fill out pretty nicely. Those smaller grass things right there are the kind of, I call them old-fashioned orange daylilies. They're my favorite daylilies. So you see them everywhere growing wild in this area of the country. I also have like some dahlias here that have been really leggy and I should have staked them. They haven't bloomed. So kind of a fail on that for me. But you know, you live and learn. I've got my climbing orange rose over here, but hopefully we'll eventually go up and over this arbor thing. And then right here, I literally don't know what this is. I think it might be Lucifer, what do you call that, Crocosmia? It's either that or I'm drawing a blank. That's what I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I've never grown it before, so we'll see. It looks like it's gonna bloom here shortly, so hopefully that'll give me a clue. And then I've got another foxtrot pennisetum over here. These little grasses, it's funny, I bought them on discount and they were supposed to be the same thing. They were all marked as the same, but clearly this one is different than these, which have a more kind of circular shape to them, whereas these are flat. And this one is bigger. So this guy, I think I'm gonna move somewhere else. And that one in the back isn't doing great, but there is some green on there, so hopefully he will survive and come back better next year. And I've got that one, and that one, and that one. So once I move this one here somewhere else, I'll just have those little sprouts of grass. I'm always changing my mind about where I want stuff anyway. I know this looks pretty bad back here, but I'm slowly building up my bog garden. I'm adding more soil and leaf litter and things like that. I don't want to go out and buy a ton of soil, so I'm just kind of trying to be economical and using stuff from around my yard. And like when I dig up to put new plants in other parts of my yard, I bring that extra dirt over here and just dump it in. So eventually this area will be filled in more and you know, it'll have a better amount of soil for the plants to root into. But that's pretty much it for this area. Got my little hens and chicks here, succulents. Those are doing okay. And I've got a little cactus guy growing over here. Oh, one more thing. The last time I made this video, I had those red twig dogwood bushes over here that I bought on clearance. They both died. I think they had some sort of disease or something, because they just never really recovered at all. That guy, I think, is a yucca. I recently bought that, and he is supposed to live in my zone. I'm zone 5B, and get pretty big, so I'm excited about that. And then this right here, I actually harvested this off the side of the road. This was like a really tall, I think it's Indian grass. It had like yellow plumes at the top, and it was really beautiful the way it splayed out. It was kind of like a vase shape. So I'm just picturing the way it would look against this wall once it gets, you know, to its full size. It will reach as high as that door and that window right there, as far as its height. In fact, that's how tall it was when I brought it to my house. But I had to cut it down just to make it more manageable. So let's see how that turns out next year. Oh, these are a new purchase. I wanted some of those, I think they're called teacups, type of elephant ear, alocasia, calicasia, whatever they are, that cup and they hold water and then it tips out eventually. And then I've got a darker elephant ear here. So these are brand new. Gonna overwinter those inside the room as well. And that's it. This is probably gonna be the last video of this area until next season, but just kind of want to show you guys some changes that I made and let you know the plans I have for the spring. Oh, one more thing. Don't know if you will remember, but over here I had talked about how I was going to plant, going to pull up this fake grass and plant in this area. You guys, I've lived here for 2 years and I never even pulled it back before. That is concrete. So now I guess it's going to be a potted plant area, because what else am I going to do with this space? And this one doesn't even want to come up, but it looks like there is actually dirt under here, but it's like, I don't know, stapled down or something. So I'm gonna have to dig into that more next year to see what I'm working with here, because I had planned on extending my pathway through here all the way back around here, going into my vegetable garden, which I'm not even going to show you right now, is totally overrun. My tomatoes have done a number. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers it. Talk to you guys in the spring.